Good day all. It is 6:36 p.m. on what they tell us is the 23rd of the 11th, 2024. This is the Self-Preservation Society, or Truth and Awareness, on Rumble and YouTube. On Basil, broadcasting Truth and Therapy, BBTT. Here I am using the talking stick. Before I go forward, can you pay attention to the description box below, where you'll find my original Bitchute channel with all my work, my contact details, and some other links that I feel are relevant and important on this journey that I'm on anyway, and I hope you are, of conscious awakening to the true self. And that's going beyond the mind, the ego, and the spiritual self to the true self. But anyway, in this presentation, you're going to have some idea of how my mind and my awareness work. I'm going to be offering some thoughts and some awareness for your perusal and for your understanding. And I say this to you: believe nothing, discount nothing, but remember everything. It's very important, people. Very important. Some things have come across my feed today and yesterday, and they're talking about Lemuria, Mu, and Atlantis, this, that, and the other. I've long been of the thought and awareness that Atlantis especially was a worldwide civilization. Wasn't just stuck in one point. In much the same way as I'm seeing more and more that Tartaria was an almost, if not complete, worldwide civilization. And when I say worldwide, I mean as we know it, as we're taught it, 7 continents, this, that, and the other. But I've been thinking about Atlantis, Lemuria, and Mu, and what we're told they represented, and indeed possibly the Tartarian Empire, or civilization, I should say, not empire, civilization, and I use that term loosely. But one of the things that I can't get my head around is how, like, the ancient megalithic builders were there, and then all knowledge of their building modalities and this, that, and the other was all of a sudden lost, in the same way as the Tartarian civilization, free energy, this, that, and the other, was lost, or apparently so. And in my thought processes come Admiral Richard Byrd. And for those of you that have never heard of him, go and look up Operation High Jump and do your own research and come to your own awareness. I do not pretend to be all-seeing, all-knowing. I certainly don't pretend to be the panacea to the individual and collective problems that we face here in this third-dimensional reality. However, I do seek to raise points, questions, share knowledge, awareness, to empower, enlighten and enable others who listen to me on their own journey and come to their own awareness. You're not walking in my shoes, I'm not walking in yours. I'm just on this my channel expressing, among other things, my own journey. And if that helps another, then brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But Operation High Jump tells the story of Admiral Richard Byrd and a flotilla of ships that went to the Antarctic after the Second World War because they knew that Hitler had a base down there called New Schwabenland. So off Admiral Byrd went, and he met people down there. I say people. There is no other way to express that which I'm not truly aware of, so we call them people. And he was told to return from whence he came and never to come back. He, by his own words, found people down there far more advanced than we were. And I will say at this point, I am not subscribing in any way, shape or form to the flat earth theory. I'm not really interested in the flat earth theory. My first thoughts when I first heard about flat earth many years ago was flat earth and tectonic plates do not make good bedfellows. And that hasn't changed. And I give flat earth very little time in my head. And, you know, some of you may be offended by that. I'm more concerned with what goes on the earth, whatever its shape or whatever, than the shape itself. But I am coming to the awareness that the earth is a lot bigger than what we're told and taught, irrespective of its shape. And I am willing to consider that these places that we call Atlantis and Mu and Lemuria wasn't in this space that we know as the earth, but beyond the ice wall. Beyond the ice wall. And you'll see by the title of this presentation, and I talk about this a lot, and I won't stop talking about it because I know I'm onto something. When mankind fell, man became human. I think there was a separation sometime in history where a few pockets of mankind were left here, just a few, and the rest moved away to a different part of the earth. And, you know, when you look at these ancient maps that are available to us, Perry Reese map, etc., there is evidence of land masses that are no longer there, or appear to be no longer there. And so, you know, for me, you've got to look at the whole map situation in a completely different way, and be open to the fact that you've been lied to pursue an agenda. Admiral Byrd reckons the people he met were far more advanced than us, and they certainly proved that to him by, again, go and do your own research and see what happened to him down there. So, I think the world separated. Humans are a result of the fall of man, and some of mankind went off in a different direction, away from us who fell. When you look at the narratives about the fallen angels in the Bible, this, that and the other, and you think about what I've just said, you might look at those fallen angels in a different way. And I often say, for angel, put angle. For angle, put arc. For arc, put light. I think man fell and became human beings. The soul, source consciousness, fell and was split into spirit. And I do believe that I am onto something. Some of you may agree, some of you may not. This is my awareness, that which comes to me, and that which I come to as a result of knowledge and information that I look at, see, feel, hear, touch, etc. When you look at Tartaria, 1 minute there was free energy, and the next minute we've gone almost back into the Stone Age. If you go back further, 1 minute we had all these megalithic structures and the knowledge to build these megalithic structures, and there are a lot of questions coming up about them now, where there's underneath these what appear to be stones are bricks, just been covered. But again, you come to your own awareness and ask your own questions. I'm just merely trying to express here thoughts to ponder, because I think in order for us to move forward, we've got to stop standing still. And I don't stand still, and I encourage you not to stand still neither. But I think the world may be a lot bigger than what we're led to believe, and it has been separated, this, what we know as the 7 continents, and who knows what, potentially beyond it. Well, it is beyond it, Operation High Jump, never mind whether you think the earth is flat, round, whatever. Admiral Byrd come back with great information about those that were beyond the ice wall, what we call the ice wall. And I'm willing to consider that ice wall was put there as a means to separate us. I don't necessarily accept anymore that the poles shift, this, that and the other, or if they do, not for the reasons we're told, and in school and this, that and the other. Because it's not beyond the rounds of fantasy for me that those people that were able to construct those ancient megalithic structures, it's not beyond the rounds of possibility to me. If they had the knowledge, the power and everything else to do that, there is no limit, potentially no limit as to what they may or may not be able to do. And but you've got to come to that and see that for yourself. All I know is that what's left here on these 7 continents are in the main human beings, and all those human beings do is fight with each other and hate with each other over resources, over power, over money, and whatever. That's not natural, people. I don't care what any of you say. That's not natural. That's not a natural way to live. And so it is false. human beings live a false life. More and more I am waking up to that on a personal level, seeing how I've led a false life, because that's where it starts. You've got to see how you've led a false life first before you can really accept anything outside of you. All starts with you. Everything starts with you. And that's certainly the case with me, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I speak to you often about how I deal and continue to deal with my demons and shadows, this, that, and now. And let me tell you, people, based upon my own personal experience, it takes some balls to do that. It takes some balls to look at yourself in the mirror and admit you were wrong. I do that. In all humility, I do that. Conquering the ego and the mind, going beyond the spirit to the true self, I do that. And everything about my channel is about empowering, enlightening, and enable you to do the same. And I'll continue to do so. Try to do so. So think about what I'm saying. I'm not saying what I'm saying is true. I'm just asking you to think about what I'm saying, and not from the standpoint of that which you've been taught, neither, and indoctrinated with. Let all that go. Question all that. And if need be, let it go. To open yourself up to truths that you may or may not be aware of, or you may have denied in the past. The only thing to fear is fear itself. Let go of that fear about not having enough. I often say, Spirit will provide for all your wants. The universe will provide for all your needs. You know, and when you let go of fear, it becomes so apparent. So think about that. That potentially Mu, Lemuria, Atlantis are all still there, but we're separated from them because we are human beings and we've fallen from man, and potentially over the other side of that, Icewall is a land, you know, Admiral Richard T. Byrd spoke about seeing mammoths over there. And if there's still mammoths over there, and we've only got his word to take for it, what does that imply on its own? That they haven't been hunted to extinction. And perhaps those mammoths are indicative of a life over there that resonates and works with nature as opposed to conquering it and destroying it. That's my point that I want you to consider and ponder. Whether it be right or not, time will tell. Or awareness will tell. The awareness I hold today is nothing in any way, shape or form like the awareness I held 40 years ago this year when I started this journey. You know, and unless you can say the same, then you are still a slave to the system. The indoctrination, the programming of the system, the false matrix, the womb, the uterus, the origin of source, that is the false matrix that keeps producing these resets time after time after time after time. And I think what happens is it sorts the wheat from the chaff. I think that every time this happens, some of those that truly have evolved here in the physical don't have to wait until the transmutation of death in order to move onward and forward. When I listen, as I have done over the years, about the alien abductions, this, that and the other, perhaps they're not alien abductions, perhaps they're extraterrestrial abductions. Extraterrestrial means extra Earth. And perhaps those individuals, not all of them, I agree, but some of those individuals have reached a level of awareness, empathy, care, love that is conducive to them taking their place in another physical realm or aspect of the realm beyond the ice wall. Consider that. Consider that. I may not be right, but equally I may not be wrong. Those beings that Admiral Byrd spoke to knew about the nuclear bombs that had been let off here at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And when you consider the ancient Vedic scripts that tell of nuclear weaponry being used thousands of years ago, and you consider the resets after resets, you can see why, or I can anyway, why there is a separation between mankind and human beings. And I am quite happy to consider and to accept even now that those that lie beyond the ice wall that Admiral Richard T. Byrd spoke to are mankind. And over this side of the ice wall, with a very few exceptions, like those in Borneo, those islands in Borneo, or deep in the Amazonian rainforest, or even the nomads of the Kalahari, very few pockets of mankind left here. It's just human beings. Just human beings fighting against each other, hating against each other, holding court power over another, controlling another with fear, money, whatever. That's not natural, people. It really ain't natural. And I can't understand today why anybody would accept that as natural. See it as natural. Embrace it as natural. It ain't. It ain't. But then, over most of you, I have a slight advantage. Because I don't buy papers. I haven't got television. And so I am free. And I use that freedom to research outside of myself and search within myself. I am free. Having realised the power I have over my shadows and demons, I am free to conquer them. And the pain and the trauma associated with them. And so I am free to conquer the pain and the trauma I see outside of myself. And merely, I say merely, and I don't mean that, But all I do now is empathise with the pain and suffering I see beyond me and care about it and seek in my naive, cumbersome way to try and do something about it, because I am free to do that. I am free to do that. I embrace my freedom. I'm not controlled by the walls of the prison anymore, because I do not fear this thing that they tell us will come at a certain point called death. I don't fear it, no more than the caterpillar fears it, as he or she transmutes into a butterfly. That's my journey. That's the awareness and the love that I embrace through dealing with my demons and my shadows. And all because, a lot of it because, not all because, I don't have a telly. I'm not controlled by the matrix programming in the way so many are. I'm not in fear of what so many are in fear of. I'm not prepping. I'm not prepping for a nuclear war or a nuclear winter or anything else. I'm not prepping for anything like that. I will embrace change as it comes, and I won't fight against it. What I will do is fight to maintain some control over that change, but I won't fight against it. And neither should you. Because if you do, you're just dancing to the tune of your dark, demonic, satanic masters, demonic, spiritual masters in the seen and the unseen, the heard and the unheard. Not me. Not anymore. I might have done a few years back. I might have done. In fact, I know I did do. And I spoke about it recently, where I offered my humble apologies to people like Kate of Gaia and whatever, where I had the audacity to question them and people like them years ago. Many of those that I questioned years ago, I questioned because I was challenged by them and their greater knowledge, knowing and awareness than I had. Challenged by it. Not anymore. I've learnt that many that I derided and mocked and were in fear of in the past were right. And it's been brilliant for me to find that, to see that, to understand that, because it's been part of my growth. It's been part of my conscious awakening. They challenge me. So many have challenged me because my ideologies and my beliefs and whatever was set in stone. Well, they wasn't, as it turns out. They were set in sand, and they've fallen away because they were false. Those beliefs, ideologies, and truths that I in the past have held dear have fallen away. And they can only fall away if they're false. And the only way to find out if they're false is to discover the lies. And when you discover the lies, all that's left is truth. It's a journey that we all have to take, ladies and gentlemen. Today, tomorrow, in the next incarnation we all have to take. But these points I've made or offered, still the questions arise, and more questions will arise. Who or what is responsible if there is a separation between mankind and human beings? Who or what is responsible for it? We are, for a start, because we allow these things to happen, because we're distracted by the bread and circuses, while that which controls us gathers more pace, momentum and power over us because of our fear, ignorance and compliance. So don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to go where angels, angles, arc, light, fear to tread. You are the light. You are the way. When you realise that, you, the receiver for all that ever was, is and will be, you have the power, you've always had the power, my dear, to be the change, to make the change. And if you don't change, you're choosing. Humans are an error code, 404, of mankind. Humans have fallen from those lofty heights of man. And we have to find our way back. Whichever way you look at it, we have to find our way back. That's not what you are there on the right. Realise that, we've realised, and see through the real lies. And if I'm right and mankind is over the ice wall, we join them. If I'm right, source consciousness is within us all. We transcend the mind, the ego, the physical self, the spiritual self to the true self, and we can change everything. Take back the power and dominion, not only over ourselves individually, collectively over the world, and collectively whatever dimension we exist in, live in, over the universe, and restore it to its natural state. There can be no other reason for life. No other reason for life. See them two monkeys there? They don't pay to live on the planet. Nobody, no other species on the planet apart from human beings pay to live on the planet. It's only human beings that pay to live on the planet. And the reason we pay to live on the planet is because we do not pay attention. If this message resonates, share the message. Don't share me, share the message. Look in my description box. Spend some time on my original Bitchute channel. Share. If what you're hearing from me has any value, if it resonates with you, then share it. Palamia, thank you. In Lakesh, in you I see another me. Mitahwe o Yasin. We are all related, we are all relatives. And I'll tell you again and again and again, we're all connected. We just got to wake up to that.